without further delay, you've heard from these guys. Let's go down to the experts. It is my favorite Canadian over there. What's going on? Brody in the beard.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you, Scott. Yes, we're a very tired bunch today, but EU never fails to give us the energy to get through these matches. They're always exciting and fast-paced, so I'm really excited to see this match going, especially when we got one of the top PR teams going on. But again, they mentioned they're starting to slack a little bit.
Yeah, I do want to mention, I do like the sound of Brody in the beard.
Brody in the beard.
Nice little sitcom we can make. I'm actually a little sad to see these guys go up against each other. These are both my boys. I love Eff0rt, a lot of the guys on there I've known for a while, and Dem Girlz as well. Their predictions I don't think are very far off, though. Dem Girlz is a very, very big powerhouse. Eff0rt has their times when they do show up very strongly, but they need to make sure it's today, because they just got, it's kind of defeating to lose 5-0, even if it is to a team like Flipside, which no one's really like, no one's caught that off guard by that, but it's still kind of defeating. Yeah,
now mentioning that you know these fellas, we see Tini, Cheerio, Kalik being on the roster. Do you think that's probably the strongest lineup, or?
They don't really have a strong lineup. I think it's really cool. Those guys tend to swap out each other a lot. I know Dave is the fourth guy on that roster. They actually play for the team. A lot of times if one of them's not feeling so great that day as far as Rocket League, they'll kind of take themselves out and get replaced by the other player.
All right. Already into this match. We have the ball down into Dem Girlz zone. A shot coming out to a little bit high. No one there to follow it up, but there is Kalik with a nice little soft touch of the Dominus to put that onto the zone. But Cheerio blocking that one to stay in. Still in the blue zone. We haven't left as of yet. Only 20 seconds into the match. And a shot getting blocked out by Dem Girlz. Push to the side. They finally break out into Eff0rt zone. As David said about play, Remco in a very good spot to get that into the net. But Kalik with a good touch on that pushes it to the side. Cheerio up on the wall. See if we get a shot. That is almost on target. But Greasy didn't want that to go anywhere closer, so he gets a touch out. A shot from Eff0rt. Kalik almost on target. They're doing a very good job of pressuring already early in the game.
And to counter that as well, Dem Girlz defensive plays are insane right now. They're making these Spider-Man wall touches, which is, when you hang up on that back wall and go for the defensive touch. They're making those look so simple. I think they made like 6 in a row. Ooh. They just kept being right there. They're right where the ball is. They're predicting it so well, which is so hard to do. And that's usually something you don't want to do unless you're a pretty skilled player. And every time they are touching the ball, it's making some pretty good distance and a pretty solid clear.
Yeah, shot. Tini not able to get to that, and Greasy drops the first one in this game so far.
Countering it well. Eff0rt wasn't able to get the clear they wanted. Kalik, I think he was aiming for the corner. He wanted that to bounce out as opposed to back into the middle. Greasy saw the bounce, read it easily, put it to the top of the net, which is what Dem Girlz does so well. These guys are so mechanically sound. They're very confident in their abilities, and I know that when they take shots, they are 100% sure of where that's usually going in.
Well, let's hope they don't get too confident for their own good and give up some easy goals for Eff0rt. So far, they're not doing so. This is an open net opportunity for Maestro. As he chips that one, can he get the second touch? Oh, and he does, Maestro.
There's very few opportunities I've seen Maestro miss these. You do not want to give Maestro any room to play. Like I said, you want to close this gap, and no one at Eff0rt was actually on defense to come and meet him at the middle. Kalik was in a tight position. His best bet was to hope that Maestro wouldn't get that touch or maybe try and body block it, but it's so hard to read those because he did pinch it off that top wall.
Those shots, again, very, very difficult to get from above the net, as you just mentioned, but Cheerio trying to get a shot of his own. Kalik to follow it up. That's going to bounce out from Maestro to carry down. He gives a pass off to Greasy. Greasy trying to squeeze that one by Tini. Doesn't quite do so. Good stop from Cheerio. Throws that from going into their net. Could have been a bad situation for them. Now Kalik trying to get a good defensive play started up as they make a move out of their zone. He now has possession. Good touch from Tini, puts that out, but doesn't get a good second touch. Kalik now having to backtrack as Maestro challenged that one on Cheerio. Out front, Remco and Greasy with a nice easy touch back to midfield. Tini there to connect with that. Octane stuffs it once again. Remco, last one back. Oh, Cheerio not able to get a good touch, and that's going to fly back into their own zone as Maestro tries to create an offensive opportunity. He wants another one. Wow, that would have been a great touch if he got it.
Would have been really close. A good solo play. Eff0rt's doing a good job of adapting what's happening here. They realized that they had a couple of, misfortunate goals going their half where they had to retreat quickly on defense. So they're leaving that third guy back a little bit longer now to make sure. Oh,
did he get that nose? Oh my goodness.
I'm pretty sure he did. I actually couldn't tell if he got up in time. Cheerio popped it up so high. Tini getting up there, flipping his carbs down, getting the tip he needed. Oh, putting it into the ground.
Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Correct, my friend. That was nuts.
Yeah, Tini showing off that, hey, we got mechanics as well. We're going to show you what's up. Now it's only a 1-goal deficit coming up just past the halfway mark on this game. Remco's going to stuff that one, see if he can 1v1 or 1v2 this. He does, but it goes just a little bit far. Maestro going to try to clean up that one as he gets stuck in the zone. Kalik now making a move to get out of the zone. Greasy right over to Maestro. Maestro not reading that well, and now that gives eff0rt an opportunity to stop this play from happening, but they don't do it quite well. Now Cheerio, the last person, good contest from him. Otherwise, that could have been a goal on eff0rt, widening this lead for Remco Greasy.
eff0rt is closing the defensive or the offensive opportunities of Dem Girlz a bit more now.
Oh, Remco the redirect.
Never mind. they were having good defensive positionings. They were making sure they kept somebody in net just a little bit longer. But Maestro putting it just in front of the net. I think they all felt like, oh, this isn't going to make it. This won't make it. And Remco getting up just as it peaks the post there. Like just as it fell in front of the net, Remco was there. And that's so hard to read. And it's actually like the best placement you can possibly do when redirecting a ball into the net.
Well, when you're playing the first place PR team, you can't underestimate where they can hit that ball from. And that's exactly why that went in. That's a couple goals now coming from right above that crossbar. eff0rt's going to have to start watching out for those shots. Now Maestro, see him get a pass to Remco, couldn't quite get the touch he wanted. That's going to be another opportunity for him as Remco tries to get another one of those just as it passes the post, but looks like eff0rt getting a little bit smarter and stopping those from developing.
They're trying to slow the play down. They don't want Dem Girlz taking as many shots. You know, we had a good explanation of what cheating.
Oh, good pass, but Kalik couldn't finish it. Another opportunity. Tinny, oh, please. Yes, there it is.
There was a little bit of freak out moments there. They were like, no, no, no. They just kind of started jumping. Greasy lost the 50 there to Kalik. Tinny pushed it back into his teammate. Both Kalik and Cheerio just so desperate to put that in when they realized they had the open shot. But you have to do that against Dem Girlz. As soon as you see an opportunity, you have to just do everything you can to put it in the net.
Someone has to be there to take it.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Kalik winning that kickoff. Deep into the zone, it's going to allow them to get some boost grabs. Cheerio with the contest. That could be out for Tinny as he gets a good touch on it, but he doesn't. Remco's now going to get that one off the wall. Challenged by Kalik. That's still going to fly towards their zone. Remco just trying to get a body on that while his teammates regroup and maybe get another offensive play started up. But they're going to have to backtrack, and that's going towards the net. Remco has no options in that situation.
Yeah, he was stuck in the worst position possible after the shot came out. I don't think he had to the cheer. I want to say it touched off of Remco. It did. It touched off of Remco's back end. And usually that would slow it down, but it hit in the perfect corner, kind of where his back left wheel was, and it just kind of kept the trajectory and moved it a bit, putting it out of the way of Remco. I think he tried to body block that. He wasn't able to retreat quick enough to turn around. And yeah, that worked really well for eff0rt.
Greasy to Remco. Remco, now Maestro if he can get up quick enough, but he can't. Kalik's going to chase that one down. Doesn't quite get a jump in time as that flies back to their zone. Cheerio now keeping that to the side, continuing with a good rotation on defense. There goes Kalik as well. He's in net. He's the last defender, but he's up a little bit too far, and Remco just lobs that one over.
Here we go, the demos. I believe we had a good demo. Remco, I can't tell if he demoed after he took the shot, and then he went for Kalik, but Kalik actually wasn't going to make it there anyways. But again, these body plays. Actually, Dem Girlz is pretty known. I remember watching a game where Greasy, they were up by a few goals, and he just actually started to circle around the entire field
take people out
and demo as many people as he could while taking all the big corner boosts, so no one had any boost. He was boost driving both teams while demoing as many opponents as he could. It was actually hilarious.
I mean, when you're up a few goals, why not try something new like that? Who knows? Right. That could be the new meta that every team tries out. That ball in front, Maestro with a good center. His teammates, Greasy ain't going to be able to follow that up. Let's even get a touch here. The pinch almost coming out from them, and this is going to go off the last defender to set a one more final goal to get them up 5-3.
eff0rt wanted to make that opportunity. You saw they all kind of got a little aggressive again. These last goals, I don't really take them too much to heart because eff0rt had only a few more seconds to try and sink this in.
Well, the team stopped playing how they normally would in those last few seconds as they just try to sink a couple more goals, or if they're feeling confident, they want to get some style points, right?
Yeah.
Style points, add some extra. I always say it's a half goal.
A little half goal.
If you get the style
yeah,
points.
That's true. I guess it was 4.5 to 3. But what I did want to say eff0rt was, no, sorry. We got a good definition of what cheating was. You guys got an idea when you kind of, it's the cherry pick position where you kind of cheat up and wait for a player to pass it to you. Dem Girlz does an insanely good job of that. It's actually what they almost constantly do, and they consistently do well. So just anyone watching, definitely watch the positioning of Dem Girlz because you'll definitely see them do that really successfully.
Now, it felt like a very close game, and it was a very close game. Shots were in favor, though, of Dem Girlz. Coming into the next match, we'll see if they can keep the momentum going, but eff0rt did a very good job of adapting, as you mentioned, mid-game there, and kind of pulling forward and staying in momentum against Dem Girlz.
Yeah, it was tied 3-3 with probably just about a minute left, it seemed. There wasn't all left. You know, they were able to sneak those last 2 goals in the last minute or so. But again, Zero Effort did adapt. Yeah, like you're saying, like they made sure to kind of leave that last guy on defense just a little bit longer to stop them shots, to stop Dem shots coming from Dem Girlz.
Dem shots. Dem shots. All right, we'll see how game 2 goes as we hit the Manfield Stadium. Crowd still cheering both teams on. We'll see who can get the first goal. 10 seconds into the match, nothing. Oh, Greasy almost with a shot. Maestro is going to capitalize on that mistake, that little chip, and he does. Wow, Maestro getting these double taps.
I told you, he rarely misses these. It's kind of insane. He reads them so well. He got up underneath that so far, and he just flooded his boost, just waited. He knew he was going to hit that top post, got his car up underneath it. There's almost no stopping that guy when he's above your post. And he ended up getting a really fortunate touch when that play first started, getting up underneath it. But Zero Effort needs to make sure they get to those. If it's anywhere in that front giant square in front of that ball, or in front of their goal, they need to contest it.
Some great rotations coming out of Dem Girlz right now. They are playing super confident and super fast. This could prove to be very harsh for Zero Effort if they don't step up the pace. They are in the blue zone now. Let's see if they can start a play up. That's going to be a nice opportunity as Cheerio rolls it up the wall, but Greasy with a second touch off that keeps that in a really good spot actually for Remco as they head down to midfield. But Tinny steals that one. One defender left, and he gets it. His teammate is there. Oh no! Cheerio couldn't put it past the post.
He did a little bit of a mind game. He actually slowed down his car. He didn't go for the second flip. He used the bottom of his car for a very, very slow touch.
Remco with another one.
Seen that from the corner. Yeah, Remco pushed that in from the corner. Given the opportunity, he saw it. It looks like Cheerio went for boost. He probably should have gone a net there, but I get the discomfort of being in net against Dem Girlz with not a lot of boost. It's a terrifying situation, but you gotta weigh that. In the moment, you gotta weigh, like, is he gonna take this shot before I get back with that boost? Or should I at least try to take this save without any?
Oh, Greasy sinking another quick one. He liked how the other one felt, and he wanted another one.
He wanted just one more. These kickoff goals, again, and I mentioned it before, you always see a bit of a scramble on kickoff. People aren't waiting. They don't have the boost they want. They're not comfortable. And we see a lot of these teams taking advantage of that.
Yeah, it looks like Zero Effort having a little bit of trouble with these early kickoffs, but this could be a goal right off the bat for them. And Kalik, nice touch, says, all right, we're going to start winning these kickoffs.
It's been like 20 seconds. We've seen 3 goals going. What's going on? Kalik followed that up nicely off that sidewall. That's actually kind of tough to do. Good angle.
Maestro read it pretty well, just couldn't get in the way. I figure with the Octane he would have been, but a good little bounce touch from Kalik to put that one in. 2-goal deficit. Only a minute of gameplay has passed so far. We see 4 goals on the scoreboard. I wonder if we're going to get much more like this or if it's going to be very even coming up for the rest of this game. Cheerio off the wall. Nice touch. Kalik to follow it up. A good shot. That's going to allow his team to set up something as both defenders Maestro and Remco are up for that one. Out of position now, but they recover very quickly as Remco starts to carry it out. Nice little touch. Almost lobbing that over the last defender. Now his partner Greasy Meister out to set up a play. Good touch from Zero Effort to throw that right back down. If that was on target, could have been a goal, actually. Maybe want to get a little more accurate long shots.
And Dem Girlz got to be careful when they get those aggressions. They just left a net wide open. We had a hard clear coming out of Zero Effort. If that was a little bit more to the right, that would have been either a really, really hard save or probably a goal the way it looked.
Cheerio chipping that one up. Chip, Cheerio. As he doesn't get the follow-up on that, Tinny is going to try to set up a play for his teammates. Cheerio in a good spot for that, but Remco's going to stop that play from developing. Tinny, if he gets up, could maybe beat Maestro. Maestro very quick to the air, touches that one to the side. Kalik with a good back rotation, gets that back out center. Now it looks like Zero Effort on a backtrack to get some boost, giving Dem Girlz a lot of room to set up a play. Remco with a shot, going to be just off the crossbar. Going to be followed up by teammate. Kalik waiting for the shot, maybe should have challenged that, as that just went off the crossbar as well.
I was actually talking to Greasy a little bit, and I was, I just kind of quizzing them, like, what they feel good on, what they don't. And one of their strengths they know that they're good at, and they're not wrong in the slightest, is they are so quick in the air to the ball. And these are one of the teams that I see promisingly beat a lot of people to the ball in any matchup they're in.
Shot from Greasy. Cheerio. An easy stop on that one, sending that back to midfield. Remco high up in the air. Wants another touch, Remco. That would have been a great shot once again from him. Greasy putting the pressure on Cheerio and Tinny trying to move out as Kalik now good flip. Can he beat the last defender? No. Remco gets a good stuff on that. Tinny just keeping that at midfield, keeping it at bay while he allows Cheerio to set up a play in the corner. Touched off the wall and a shot. Very powerful. Kalik luckily on a very good rotation keeps that from going in. A minute 50 left in the match. 3-1 in favor of Dem Girlz. A drop down for Kalik. Can he get a good touch? He almost does. Still trying to push that out, challenging the ball. But Dem Girlz is going to get possession as they move that back down. Oh, a good redirect. Can Maestro finish it off? Tinny with a very good contest.
These guys are nuts. They're so fun to watch. But you're seeing both these teams actually adapt pretty well now. Dem Girlz is already a generally aggressive offensive team. And, apologies, Eff0rt right now knows they have to be aggressive because they're 2 goals down. So both teams are taking those quick counterattacks and those long shots. They're both adapting, noticing that they're dedicating the 3 players a little bit too quick sometimes, and they're trying to take advantage of it, which is cool to see both these teams reading that off of each other.
No, and I like to see, though, that even though they're putting on the pressure, as you mentioned, a minute of gameplay left, they have to get 2 more goals. This could be an opportunity, but Kalik couldn't get it. But they're still able to rotate back and stop any of these long shots that are coming out and these really good plays from Dem Girlz.
Yeah, Dem Girlz, knowing that they're almost always up there, there's always a player that's kind of cheating up. You can always see someone kind of waiting for that pass, and they still somehow manage to get someone back on defense. But it's because these guys are confident in each other. They know that as soon as they pass that up, they don't have to deal with the play for a bit, because it's probably getting a tip to the 3rd player. They can rotate back, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of technicality that goes into it, but you can tell that these guys trust each other.
Yeah, Dem Girlz just had a lot of good individual and mechanical plays, but we still see Eff0rt being very, very good at reading their opponent's shot on net. Maestro can stop that, but I think that's what's keeping them in the match right now. Good touch from Tinny, but Remco trying to place that on the far side. Would have missed anyways, but Kalik was there to catch that one. Now up in the air, 10 seconds left. Not looking good for Eff0rt. They need 2 goals in 8 seconds, but they're in their own zone. This looks like it's probably going to be going to Dem Girlz in this second match. Eff0rt still putting up a very, very good fight, and I'm excited for what the next match is going to be.
Yeah, Eff0rt is not going down without a fight.
No.
They are doing their very, very best to make sure that they're keeping their own mentality and they're keeping the momentum as much as they can in their favor, even though they're not getting the wins right now.
No, even in that last few seconds there, when they knew it was over, they didn't give up fighting. Like, they didn't stop.
Yeah, they didn't give them the slightest.
Yeah, and again, if you look at the scoreboard quick here, the shots are actually fairly even between the 2 teams. So it's, as we said, like we're not getting a giving up notion yet from Eff0rt. Going into this next match, though, they have lost 2 in a row. Do you think they can pull back in the series and reverse sweep it?
I think they could, because towards the end of that game, they still showed that they were working together. They weren't caving in. They weren't like, a lot of times when you see a team down by like 2 or 3, they kind of just fall apart at the end of that match and have to kind of pick the pieces back up before they start the next game. But Eff0rt doesn't seem to be doing that. But again, I'm going to make a comment on it. Dem Girlz, in one of their last drives in that game, they had like a pass play on their own half, like in defense. Someone, I think Remco had to come across the net to clear it, or actually he put it to his own wall, and he had a teammate just sitting on the wall waiting for it, like he knew he was going to clear it there, who hit it up to a 3rd player. It's good on Eff0rt for being able to read half of the stuff that Dem Girlz does, because even as someone watching from a bird's eye view, I'm having a tough time knowing where they're going to put it sometimes.
Well, and that's what I was mentioning last game. They're doing a very, very good job of reading their opponents. They're just not getting any of those plays started up themselves, but they are contesting and winning some of those contests against Dem Girlz.
Yeah.
So we'll see into this next match if they can pull it back. I'm sure we got some fans saying the reverse sweep will be coming. That'll be very exciting if it does. But into Eff0rt zone we go as Dem Girlz try to set up a play. That's already on net, and a quick early goal just from a defensive malfunction.
Maestro coming in, putting the shots on no matter where he is. Tinny goes up. Kalik and Cheerio both went for that second touch. Of miscommunication. I think Kalik was already headed towards net, and he didn't think Cheerio was going to make it, so he turned around instead. In that case, he probably should have just continued to net. It would have been an easy save for him. But, you know, early on, there's still plenty of time for them to catch back up.
Well, that could have gone either way. Both of them could have been at fault, but it's just communication that it comes down to.
Very true,
that's where they faulted. So we'll see if they can get that under ropes, under wraps, and get a play started themselves into Dem Girlz zone. Kalik trying to just psych out them by staying on the ball. Continue with a good touch. Kalik way back. Bad placement on that clear, though. It's going to stay in their zone. Maestro almost winning that contest. Another one touch shot off the crossbar. Cheerio with a good idea to get up. Otherwise, that could have been a dangerous situation as the ball would have bounced right out front with no one to defend it. Maestro trying to set up another one off the backboard. There's an open net. Kalik left that open.
Kalik didn't have much of a chance there. He was sitting in the net, didn't have much to do. Cheerio went for the touch. He didn't have the strongest touch to the side. Tinny went for that, and Kalik was just stuck. There's no way he was going to turn it. I guess he could have made the attempt, but Greasy knew he had
Oh,
that.
yeah, and Greasy, again, beautiful placement. There was no more space between the post and that ball. Like, it was well put in there, right in the pocket. We'll see, though, if we can pull back from this. Another shot coming up from Dem Girlz. Only a minute in, 2 goals for Dem Girlz. Eff0rt needs to step this one up. Good touch from Kalik, and that's going to be a nice goal for themselves to be only 1 goal down.
good to put this in with only a minute down, even though they were down by 2. It looked kind of bleak for a while, but Killy getting underneath that, landing underneath it, he really messed up the Dem Girlz prediction. A lot of times, just those slight gentle touches are all it takes to throw off a really good player, because they know how it's going to bounce. They've got it all planned out in their head. They know the next 2 bounces the ball's going to take, and if you move that a tiny bit, they got to recalculate, and they're not going to be able to do it in time.
Well, you're right. It's just how precise these players are. Any little bit of movement with the ball can throw you off, but you got to watch out, especially when you're last defender. There's no room for mistakes, or we see a goal like that. Kalik with a chip out. Let's see if he can get another touch. He almost stuffed that one through the last 2 defenders, but Maestro's just going to toss that to the side while Remco and Greasy regroup. But Greasy out of position. If someone was up for that, that could have been a scoring opportunity, as there's no one left in net. But they weren't. And now we're back into zero effort zone. Kalik doing a very good job of keeping the pressure on at the moment, keeping his team in the zone around midfield instead of having plays develop in front of their net.
Zero effort's getting their rotations back in. They're leaving someone back in net. They're always having somebody for those counter clears, but they got to make sure that they get the aggression on. With 1 point down with 3 minutes to go, they have to turn it around, but they also can't do what just happened there and have some defensive hiccups. They just need to make sure that they smoothly transition from defense to offense.
We got a couple bad touches coming out of zero effort, and that's what's keeping them in their own zone. Maestro with a nice little pinch out to midfield. Got a touch from Kalik to keep that from going in, but now that placement, oh my goodness, Cheerio barely able to get that out. They're struggling right now. They need to work on this rotation, or else these shots are going to keep coming out from Dem Girlz. Here's another one. Kalik finally gets a good touch to send that back to midfield. Very scary situation for zero effort.
Dem Girlz just keeps putting on Dem shots until there's nothing they can do about it. But zero effort kept their cool. They kept collecting. There were 1 or 2 times I think that they had a bit of a rotational error, but they were able to make up for it. Kalik seeing in a good place, kind of noticing where he was going to have to take the shot. And it was a zero effort actually collected themselves pretty well for that situation.
Tinny with a touch out to midfield. Can he follow it up? Remco says no and gets the touch. Everyone's squeezing back. This is a bad spot. Maestro oh, and he does sneak it in. Not the way I thought it would go, but it's in regardless. This is not good.
Maestro, stop it. Just missed one of them. Kalik actually, it bounced off that awful corner spot above the net.
That was a weird angle.
Yeah, it was a bad angle. Kalik read the bounce pretty well, but it actually hit that awkward corner where it just dropped straight down. So he wasn't able to get the touch he needed. His players weren't in position for it. And then Maestro, apologies, above the net. You never want to deal with it.
No, and it just looks to be a little bit of crumpling up. Not enough speed on their rotations defensively, almost going in there, but Kalik pushes it to the side. I think that's where they're starting to fall apart. We'll see, though, if they can start to put some pressure offensively into their zone. You can't miss balls like that. A little bump coming from Greasy on Tinny. Looks like Cheerio tried to get one himself. Now they are on the attack. We'll see if they can keep this moving forward to get some more goals. Only 2 goals down, 1:40 left. Still very, very doable as long as they can stay on the attack. Good contest from Tinny on Maestro. He wins that one out, but there's no one there to follow it up. A little bit of a bad read from Kalik there as Remco just sits slowly. Maestro, you don't want a 1v1 with him. Remco, the pass plays.
Oh,
dirty.
Man, Dem Girlz still making sure that no matter how far they're in the lead, they're still going to keep it up. This pass play, Maestro passing it over to Remco. Remco tapping it into the net. Oh my God, so pretty.
That was gorgeous. Again, I think, and hopefully we'll see some more plays like that throughout the rest of the series today. But that's the best one I've seen so far in today's matches.
Yeah, definitely.
Remco just getting the second touch there for Greasy. Greasy leaves it on the ground, but Maestro pushes it up. Greasy in a good spot. Good tap out. Maestro going to challenge this one. Doesn't get the right read, but at least put a body on that. Kalik a little slow to get up to that, so he's going to lose the contest. It slowly rolls back towards their half of the midfield. Maestro with a weird touch. Greasy going to follow it up. Tinny, Kalik, and Cheerio on a good rotation, but they can't seem to get it out of their end as Maestro tries to set up a play for his teammates. 4-1, 1 minute left. 3 goals in a minute is a very difficult task for zero effort right now.
It very much is. And the scariest part of going against Dem Girlz is you want to put them in a place they're not comfortable in. They're very comfortable in offense, so you want to keep them in a defensive nature. You want to keep them in their half. But doing so usually is going to leave your net just a little bit vulnerable, and these guys can take shots from anywhere. So it's hard to really pinpoint their weaknesses and to force them into bad rotations or to force them onto defense when they really don't, when they'd rather be scoring. And zero effort, I'm hoping, they do it a little bit in the beginning of the game, and then once they get a few shots on them, they have to get a little more passive, a little more defensive. But I'm hoping that if they come out strong and get an early goal, they're able to keep that aggression of Dem Girlz and force them into the back position.
Very true, Remco. See if he can get a pass out to his teammate to get one more play started. Greasy grabbing some boosts. Throws that back in, but Tinny says no, denied. Throws it to the side. Cheerio, one last ditch effort to get another goal on the scoreboard. That's not going to happen as Dem Girlz throws it back to midfield. Ball still hasn't dropped, but 4-1 is most likely going to be the score as we finish off this game. Game 3 going to Dem Girlz. Are you surprised?
Not so much. Again, this is about exactly where everyone had predicted so far. You know, I think eff0rt still has an opportunity to make sure that they come back, to make sure that they put the aggression on, and to, I don't know, kind of, I don't want to say redeem themselves because they're not playing poorly in the slightest, but Dem Girlz is just playing well.
Yeah, no, eff0rt still playing fairly strong, but by no means are they doing it very bad at all. I think the biggest issue why we saw a big difference in the score there was because of some defensive breakdowns. They just weren't communicating well while they're rotating in their own zone, and it just goals snuck by.
And we had mentioned that Dem Girlz was having a slight bit of difficulty earlier in the last kind of week and a half. You know, they didn't perform as well in the qualifiers as everyone expected. They did get knocked down in the losers bracket and had a really, really difficult game, or at least a difficult opponent going in, trying to qualify into this. And it was actually like 2 huge teams. It was them and Crown and Jewels, I believe it was. And that was an insane game to watch. But again, it seems like they're kind of keeping their cool. This is the Dem Girlz that I'm pretty much used to seeing. And they're getting the points that they need, and they're keeping their composure, and I like to see that.
Well, we have Maestro coming out very strong. We'll see if we can continue this into our 4th match and get some of those double taps that we like to see. I want to see some more passing plays that we saw with Remco there. Absolutely beautiful.
They're always so pretty to watch. As any kind of beginner, intermediate, advanced player, we all love watching stuff like that. So by all means, please, boys, both teams, keep that up. That's
why I like already so early on into the day we're seeing plays like that. I am excited for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
As I said, EU always excites me, always gets that hype and energy going. Excited to see these matches. Now, Greasy trying to set up a play for Maestro. Maestro already in there. That's going to go way to the side. Remco trying to set another play. Almost an open net there. Last defender able to get a good clear as it rolls around. Dem Girlz zone. Tinny off the wall. Bad aerial there, sends him flying away. No contest there from Cheerio Kalik, the last defender. This is out front. Tinny needs to get a touch on this. He does. Very, very good touch to send that out. Kalik trying to get a redirect. Followed up by Tinny. That's on point, but Maestro sending that way back to midfield. Minute into play, we haven't seen any real shots on net yet, but both teams putting up a very good effort.
There's a good portion of Rocket League that's high risk, high reward, and the better you get, the less that risk is, and the reward still stays the same. But eff0rt right now is coming out with that high risk, high reward mentality. They're putting themselves in good places, but they're making the crazy defensive touches they need. We saw Tinny come so far off that wall for that defensive touch, and if he didn't make that, it would have been a for sure goal for Dem Girlz.
Oh, 100%. Remco trying to set something for Greasy. Greasy challenges that one and wins it. Almost out to the center, but Kalik gets a touch. Maestro, let's see if he can do some fancy stuff. Good read on that, but a little bit wide to get an actual good touch on net. Remco with the challenge. Tinny to put it off the wall. Right back to Remco, though. Greasy doesn't win that one as Cheerio finally gets the ball moving, but that shot on net from Maestro. The placement, the power. First goal of this game.
I want to go back and see Maestro's accuracy right now because most of his shots have made connects with the back of that net. He took it so hard from that right side. Tinny and Cheerio, I believe, are both in the corner, which left Kalik in the net, or Cheerio and Kalik could be opposite, switch positions in what I'm describing. I honestly don't remember, but the guy in net was kind of on the flat foot. Maestro saw it, slammed it in. I'm horrible with these names. My God, I'm just gonna stop talking.
Don't worry, the chat will call you out.
Oh yeah, they will. I can't wait to go look back and read it, guys. Thank you.
Maestro with a back touch, but Kalik's gonna take advantage of that misplay, almost rolling that up at Remco, taking advantage of that rolling ball to put it back to midfield. And a good spot is eff0rt now to set up a play. They need to keep the pressure on. They're giving too much room to Greasy as he gets that out. Tinny just trying to do something, get a body on a Kalik, the last defender. That could be a bad spot for the ball to drop. Tinny getting a little hesitant. Allows that ball to go in front of the net, and it's going to roll in. Greasy getting credit for that, even though he's nowhere to be seen.
This was a cell pass on accident here. Greasy actually puts it over to the corner. Cheerio caught himself in a bad position. He tried to make the flip, so at least he put some power on the hit that he needed. He actually been better off not flipping because sometimes it absorbs a little more of the touch. But Cheerio just found it was just a bit of a wrong place, wrong time. And it got smacked right into his car, and he self-centered it.
Well, it looked like Tinny probably could have got it, but I'm sure he heard an "I got it" from a teammate and stopped, and that's what created the hesitation, resulting in a goal. Only 2 goals on the scoreboard, though. Still putting up a good fight. Good at touch from Remco to keep that away from their net. Their defensive rotations are super strong. I think you mentioned it before. And there's just no shots, really, being put on net by eff0rt. Dem Girlz doing a very good job. Open net. Greasy reading that corner bounce. It's the final touch.
Greasy. It's so painful watching because I love both of these guys so much, Tinny and Greasy. All these guys. Greasy gets the touch just above it. Looked like he could have been hidden by the ball. I know me personally, if I'm ever close to the ball or there's someone that's close to it, that ball is massive compared to these cars. So when they get hidden, you never know exactly what kind of touch they're going to make. But that's why sometimes you got to be a little passive and either wait for it or force the touch before you get too close.
Well, that's why you got to set your camera angle to like +10 or something, so you can see over the ball. Remco now going to try to get a pass out to Greasy. Greasy with a bump. Maybe tries to get a touch off his backside there, but he just goes for a boost steal instead. Starving, Eff0rt, allowing Dem Girlz to keep the push on one defender left. Remco, touch out to Maestro, open goal. And there's another one on the scoreboard.
These passing plays are getting there so quick, and they're not feeling scared to take the shot. I mean, look at this. Remco goes with touch. He knows he doesn't have the shot. He just doesn't want an opposing player to clear it. And then Maestro's like, I'm sure it's going to drop right out of here. I know you got it, bro. They know each other so well, and they don't feel rushed in these situations.
They would do well in business meetings. The synergy is real. We'll see if they can get another shot. Greasy! Oh, the blocks from Cheerio. And that's going to get pushed to the side as they try to create an offensive opportunity. Get some goal scoring. Ball's in front of the net. Greasy now with a nice easy roll. Almost got a Remco. Remco trying to go for the turtle, the BM, but that ball doesn't get out to him. Now just a little bit of friendliness going from Remco and Cheerio in front of the net. Almost setting Cheerio out of the play as Remco keeps his car on the ball, just kind of waiting it out. Good touch, good read there to keep that ball in the play. Minute 25 left in the match. Eff0rt not looking to be in a good spot. They're not getting any plays started up in the opponent's zone.
They're not really. Dem Girlz is doing a good job of keeping control of the ball. Their touches are either slow enough or gentle enough to where they'll get the next touch personally, or they're always towards an opposing player. And this is where the kind of cheating comes into play, because they're always giving it to themselves. They're not ever giving possession away. I mean, at times they clear it just to buy themselves time, but most of the time,
Greasy
this being one of them.
Easy open. I think that's 3 open nets in a row that we've seen for Dem Girlz goals.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're down by 5. Eff0rt has to do everything in their power to just get a goal up, especially because you want to go into the next game with hopefully a goal under your belt, feeling pretty good, being like, all right, you know, that last minute, we kept them on the back foot. We were able to get a goal in. If we can do that for the entirety of the next game, we might be able to eke a win out.
And that's the thing. It's so easy to tilt in this game because you could be up 3 goals or 4 goals and then get 3 scored on you, and it just feels like you're losing even though you're still winning. We've always said it, very momentum-based game as Greasy sinks another one, going for a 7-goal, maybe we'll get an own goal, and we'll see some mythical numbers there.
Some mythical BMing. I'm sure they're going to go for it. I know Dem Girlz is a pretty playful team. Like I said, I've watched Greasy just see how many demos he can get in a single game in the middle of a competitive setting. I think it was either a Post-Up Premier League or even like an RLCS match. I honestly couldn't tell you, but it was really funny to watch. But again, Eff0rt, they have the skill, they have the talent, but Dem Girlz right now is doing what Dem Girlz does. They're keeping control of the ball like 80% of the time. So,
there we go, that pass play.
That's what we like to see.
I love to see those plays coming out from Dem Girlz. Great pass.
Remco comes up the ball. And look at where he touched the ball. When Remco went for the pass to Maestro, he made sure to hit it on the under half, so it kept the ball up. A lot of times what people accidentally do when they come off the wall is they'll hit it on the top side of the ball, and it just slams it into the ground, and there's not much they can do. So he made sure to maintain the altitude of the ball, and Maestro just read it so well. But again, I don't mean to keep talking about how good his shots are, but man, his shots are good.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's for sure. Shot. Oh, finally, there's the Brazil.
There it is.
I'm sure the spam is going to be coming out, but there's the Brazil. I always love these. The 7-1, 16 seconds left. Cheerio with a touch. Remco couldn't quite get it.
Able to sink one in again. This is what you want to do at the end of a game when you're losing, you know, pretty promisingly, when you're not doing so hot. You want to just kind of ramp up by the end of the game so you can go into the next game. The next game will be the final game of the series, so you want to go into that last game.
Oh, Maestro destroying that 7-1
with a score. But Dem Girlz is not going to let you do that because they're Dem Girlz and they want the last say apparently. And Maestro just wants to see how much he can pad his stats.
He's going, yeah. The stat guy. He's just like, hey, stat guy, watch this. I'm gonna have a lot of work for you. Another touch from Tinney, and we're coming in the final 10 seconds left. Do you think they can come back from this? I mean, it's only 7 goals.
You know, with 3 seconds left, if Eff0rt really pumps it into the 18th gear, they might be able to pull it off.
The 18th gear. And there we go. That's another win under the belts of Dem Girlz, Maestro, Greasy, and Remco putting the pound on. Look at that. Going into the 5th game, I feel like we're going to see probably the same thing come out I don't see much of a difference. I don't even know if we'll get a 4-1. I think it'll be a 5-0 probably.
It's looking like it'll be 5-0, but again, they got a little cocky towards the end, Dem Girlz, but even a cocky Dem Girlz still puts on a lot of shots. It's really interesting to see that Remco scored none of those 8 goals. It was split between his 2 teammates, Maestro and Greasy. And I don't know. I'm guessing a 5-0, but I want to have faith in my buddies on Eff0rt.
I will say that I will give out to Eff0rt their consistency. These last 2 games, they only had 2 shots on net. So there's a bullet point for them there.
Yeah.
But coming to this last one, do you think maybe I know you know the team. Do you think maybe Dave would have been a better option for this coming in this, or do you think they picked the right people for these in this matchup against Dem Girlz?
It's hard to say. I've watched them play with multiple rosters, and they tend to perform pretty well. No one's really underperforming, which is usually the time they would probably feel like they need to swap out, is when someone's underperforming or not doing so well. And honestly, all Eff0rt, like they're getting beat by Dem Girlz, but collectively they're still performing as a team and they're working together. So generally, it's the times when you have to deal with someone that's just like not pulling their weight or they're really tilting is when you want that roster swap. So maybe not in this case.
Already a goal coming out from Greasy. The pass plays 9 seconds into this match, and we're already starting it off quick.
Dem Girlz definitely wants to get the lead early on, especially after they had such a promising win last game. And again, Greasy, these guys just keep taking shots, and it keeps going in. And I don't know what to do about it.
They're in full swing right now, that's for sure. Going into their other matches for the rest of the day, they're probably going to be doing exactly what we're seeing right now. Maybe a little bit of adaptability in the first few matches against their new opponents, but I fully hope and expect to see this as the Dem Girlz going into the rest of the matches. For today's shot to the far side, good placement from Maestro, but Cheerio with a nice easy roll. Oh no, Greasy missing the corner on that one. Tinny going to have an opportunity to move it out. Missed by Kalik. It's going to be in front of that Remco with that air control. Greasy trying to set up another play, but stopping that is Kalik off the wall. Maestro and Greasy just putting on the pressure. Remco almost winning that challenge, but back to Greasy. One defender left. Kalik, can he get the touch? Oh my goodness! And there it is. No! All 3 attackers and almost missing that.
It's like a quadruple touch up here. Greasy Meister pinches on that wall. It hits his car like 3 times before it bounces down. Kalik wasn't ready for that. Maestro barely squeaks that in. He almost overshot it, thinking it was going to bounce a little bit higher, but he was able to slam it down into the ground just in time.
And it blows me away every time. This Dem Girlz team, the mechanical skill they have is unreal. Their air control, how they can control that boost in the feathering is unreal. This is an opportunity, though. Out front, tossed away by Maestro. He says, no, we want more goals ourselves as they run back down into Eff0rt zone. Greasy keeping the pressure on. Maestro back to Greasy. Remco waiting for a pass, just circling like a shark. And here it comes down for him. Remco can't get the touch. And Maestro to follow it up, but Tinny throws it back to midfield. Kalik is there to connect with it. Remco throwing that back to his teammate. He knows someone is there, and they are. Greasy. The contest won by Kalik, though. This is up front of the net, but no pressure from Cheerio. And that's just going to roll back to midfield, allowing Dem Girlz to put more pressure on into that orange zone.
Dem Girlz is putting pressure hard on Eff0rt, and Eff0rt, they have solid rotations, and they're looking for each other, and they're passing it most of the time, but they're just a little bit too slow. They're making those gaps a little too big between the players, or they're taking a little bit too long to make.
Oh, that was a good play from Tinny there.
Mind game, Tinny. He so expected that cut in, and Tinny did actually nothing with it, which totally surprised.
Got a little bit of a turn, but didn't touch it.
Yeah, it's always nice when you see a little bit of jukes going on. But again, yeah, Eff0rt, they're just a little bit slower, and Dem Girlz is being super fast right now. Make sure they're getting to that ball, making sure they're getting those goals.
Kalik almost squeezed one in there. Cheerio trying to get one up for him, but connected with that ball off the backboards. Greasy trying to get that read in the block, but Tinny gets it past him, back into the blue zone, followed by Kalik. Tinny in a good spot to get this, and Maestro doesn't touch it, but he does. Of course he does. Very good defense coming out of Dem Girlz. And that's something that Eff0rt's going to have to start watching for. Expect them to make those Spider-Man hits and start trying to read them and connect with them, get ahead, one step ahead, and drop them into the net that way.
Exactly, yeah. You want to make sure that you can see what they're doing, accept they're going to do it, try and figure out what they're going to, like, you just got to start to read your opponents, right? I mean, it goes for any kind of game, any kind of sport. You want to start to adapt to what they can do. And Eff0rt's doing it positional-wise, but they're not doing it as much in a prediction sense and trying to touch the ball. But again, it is very tough to do in Rocket League. I mean, people can, it looks like you might do it, and mind games come into play and all sorts of stuff. They can do many different alterations of a touch. But yes, you're very right. Like, Zero Effort should probably do a little bit more to predict.
Well, that's where mix-ups come in. Once you realize that your opponents start reading you, you start to do some other stuff. As we said, mind games. Remco with a second touch. Maestro getting a little bit of a bump. Can't put another one in. Minute 40 left, already left in this match. This one going by very quick compared to the last one. A good touch over to Khalik. Can he connect? That would have been a great play. No, Tinny. Why did you miss that wide open net? And a demo coming out from Greasy on Cheerio going to allow them to set up a play.
A lot of times the more open the net it is, the easier it is to miss, because now the pressure's on, right? When all of a sudden you're concentrating, you're like, I know I have to make it in this tiny little part of the net because everyone's there. You sit there and concentrate. But when there's no opposition at all in front of you, your brain's like, I don't have to concentrate, I have this. And then you're like, but wait, what if I miss this wide open shot? So he rushed it a bit, and he paid a bit for it.
Second guess yourself, and that's why tournament play is so much different than just playing in ranked or with buddies. There's a lot more on your mind, a lot more on the line. And oh, Maestro gets the pinch for a third goal. 50 seconds left.
Again, getting there quick. It's exactly what Dem Girlz does so well. Remco gets the touch over to Maestro. Maestro's ready. Tinny actually made it to the ball in time, but Maestro actually dunked him. If Tinny didn't touch it, Maestro actually might not have made that in. So it was fortunate in the side of Maestro, but again, being there as quickly as he was, unreal.
Well, and almost like Maestro was trying to go for that. I mean, the way they're playing, and there's another one. But the way they're playing, I'm going to say that was intentional to get that pinch. They're just on fire, and they know what they're doing right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because I wasn't able to see his takeoff. A lot of times you'll notice the way they take off if they're ready for the dunk or if they were just going for the shot. But again, once these guys are on fire, they're just going to keep sinking them in one after the other.
47 seconds left. 4-0 on the scoreboard in favor of Dem Girlz. Shots are 9. Oh, and there's one. Cheerio. I mean, if they keep doing that right off the kickoff, they could maybe pull this one back for a point in the series.
It's always a chance, 40 seconds left if they get 3 more kickoff goals, in the next 20, 30 seconds. But again, I like seeing when teams do that, when they keep fighting. They've lost 4 of the 5 games, and it's looking like they might lose the 5th as well, but they haven't given up. They're not trying to FF. They're not trying to get out of here. They want to keep fighting.
We'll give them consolation. The shot-to-goal ratio is definitely in favor of Zero Effort right now. 2 shots on net, 1 goal. We have 9 or 10 for Dem Girlz with 4 goals. 26 seconds left. The pressure is going to be real from Zero Effort as they make a last-ditch effort. There's a goal. Pushes it right through. Now we only have a 2-goal differential.
Another one. I'm getting a little excited. My heart's starting to beat faster now. I'd like to see if we get a couple more of these quick goals.
Good dunk.
Dem Girlz, mess up a few more times. I want this to be exciting.
Oh, I'd love to see this last one go to an overtime. I would love to see it. I'm sure lots of people are rooting on Zero Effort right now because they have not given up. They have played their hearts out these matches. Obviously, a few mistakes in the past few matches, but they're not giving up, and they're doing everything they can to get a point. As we mentioned, every point matters. If they can get a win here, this is going to be tough, though. 8 seconds left. Tinny playing a little bit too much time on that. No real play is going to develop. Khalik with a nice little chip, but it's going to get stopped by the last Dem Girlz defender as we come down to 0 seconds. The ball touches the ground, and that is a straight-up 5-0 for Dem Girlz. And look at that. Like, we had about 4 shots come out in the last minute of play from Zero Effort, and I would have liked to see that a little earlier on in the set.
Yeah, and it's hard to know if Dem Girlz maybe sat back a little bit again, knowing they were that far up in the last game. They didn't want to just keep putting them down. They did it in the 4th game, putting it up as high as they did. But I loved seeing Zero Effort fighting as hard as they did until the very, very end, and I'm curious to know what they saw over at the other desk.
Played with their hearts. They played well, and yeah, we'll see what the guys over at the desk have to say about that 5-0 from Dem Girlz.
Thanks, gentlemen. Dem Girlz. I'm not sure if they're dudes, chicks, or a cop, but nevertheless, Dem Girlz is good. And I tell you what, Zero Effort, 0 intent. They have yet to win a game. My heart goes out for them. But, they played flip side and they played Dem Girlz.
Easy peasy for Mr. Greasy and the Dem Girlz crew. And good job predicting that 5-0. My streak over, guessed the 4-1. But really, Dem Girlz came out in form. They were struggling as of late, but this is a huge result for them.
Yeah, there were 2 big takeaways that I saw on Dem Girlz. there was their speed of their offense. If they got onto the offense, you had about 3 seconds to get back onto defense, or they were going to be putting them in. They didn't have a lot of goals off of long offenses. If they weren't able to put in the counter plays or put in the defensive punishment, they weren't going to be scoring. But there was that, and then there was Remco to Maestro. The passes we saw from this guy were incredible. The aerial plays between the two of them, and then you combine that with the speed of offense I was just talking about, and that was just you couldn't deal with it,
Well, Wave, James, let's take a look at these highlights. It was an old-fashioned woodshed match as We Them Girls.
Yeah,
5-0.
you see that first dunk there by Greasy on the post, just forcing it in. He had a couple of those where he just double-tapped it like so close to the wall and was able to get it on point. But again, as Wave said, the passes from Remco were phenomenal.
Yeah, like you said, Maestro, playing off that backboard, he was so good at pinching things and putting him in just these places that you couldn't see. And how do you defend against it, right? When they're pinching it on the crossbar, sending it down into the goal, it's so difficult to find the way to get at that angle. Yeah, you can see this pass play right here, that ball, that's the prettiest passing I've seen in a long time.
And another thing, I saw Johnny Boy, who's an analyst in the EU region, he said it in chat, and I say it every opportunity I get, is why leave somebody out of the goal on a face-off? It makes no sense. And people will disagree on this. Like, I talked to Kronovi, and Kronovi's like, no, I go for boost. And I don't understand it. It's why you just leave somebody in net, they get that first pad, they have 44 boosts, they can have all the boosts they need to make the save or get that long clear for the counterattack. I don't understand why teams do not leave players in the net on the face-off. We saw multiple face-off goals in Game 2 and one at the end there. So hopefully they just lit. But We Dem Girls, they're so good, but even them, they'll just.
Yeah, what do you gain? So you go on to pick up the boost, and now we're going to go on this amazing counterplay. And if there's a team that I would say, okay, I can see you counterplaying really well, it's We Dem Girls. Like I was just saying, their speed is incredible. But what do you gain if they shoot the ball straight at the goal? Now you have to get from the corner straight back in front of the goal, and now you got 100 boosts, but by the time you get back to goal, it's more like 65, and okay, great, now you have 20 more boosts to make a save, much harder than if you just sat there.
Yes, but I would say, though, with zero effort, they are 0-10, but I do want to highlight that we've seen this before in the RLC Pro League in NA with failure to launch. They had to play the #1 ranked team in NA and the #2 ranked team in NA with iBuyPower and Kings of Urban. They ended up making it to the playoffs, so zero effort in that same situation. I wouldn't count them out just yet. And then on the flip side, with We Dem Girls, yes, they got this 5-0 versus zero effort, but how will they fare against the top tier teams like Flipside, which is the final match that we get to watch today?
Yeah, we got a little ways to go before that. Let me tell you two teams that are going to give maximum effort when we come back. Flipside versus Mocket, the top two teams on the bracket below the We Them Girls. So these guys are going to rock it out next. Don't go anywhere. It's the Rocket League Championship Series right here on Twitch.